Hello children and viewers. So today I am going to explain refraction of plane wavefront from a surface using Huygens principle. So already we learned the Huygens principle. So in the Huygens principle the important point is, so if we know the wavefront, how can we draw the incident rays? For example, this is the wavefront. For this wavefront, how I can draw the incident rays? The incident rays are nothing but the direction of propagation of energy. So that's why if you draw a perpendicular for this incident ray, if you draw a perpendicular for this wavefront, this is a wavefront. So plane wavefront. So this is a plane wavefront. So for this plane wavefront, when I draw the perpendicular rays or perpendicular lines, so that perpendicular lines direction is nothing but light ray directions. Light ray directions. So that light ray may be the incident ray or reflected ray or refracted rays. And for every wavefront, that may be the plane wavefront or spherical wavefront or cylindrical wavefront, how I can draw the light rays? So the light rays direction is nothing but the direction of propagation of energy. So that's why the direction of propagation of energy is always perpendicular to the wavefront. And nothing but if you draw a perpendicular line for the wavefront, so that will be gives the light ray direction of propagation of energy. So this how to remember. So this can be used. So now this can be used in this refraction of plane wavefront. So to explain the refraction of the plane wavefront from a surface, so now I am taking, so this is a surface. This is a surface P dash. So P dash is the surface separating the two media. And nothing but above the surface is one medium will be there and below the surface is another medium is there. So now above the surface of P dash, let us consider, so there is a medium. So the medium name will be 1. And in this medium, let us consider the light will be travel with velocity v1. And nothing but when the light is traveling in the medium 1, it is travel with velocity v1. And now consider below this P dash, there is another medium. So the medium name will be considered 2. So this is a medium 2. Below this a P dash, and above the P dash there is a medium 1. And below the P dash there is a medium 2. And in that medium 2, the velocity of light will be considered v2. And nothing but when the light will be coming from medium 1 to medium 2, the velocity is not same. And when entering into the next medium, what happened? The velocity will be changes. So that's why in the medium 2, the velocity will be the v2. So if the velocity of the light in medium 1 is v1, then now the absolute refractive index of the medium 1 will be considered n1. And the absolute refractive index of the medium 2 will be considered n2. So the absolute refractive index of the medium n1 can be taken as c by v1 because it is the ratio of velocity of the light in vacuum to velocity of the light in medium 1. And now coming to the absolute refractive index of medium 2 is nothing but it is the ratio of velocity of the light in vacuum to velocity of the light in that medium 2. And n1 is the absolute refractive index of medium 1 and n2 is the absolute refractive index of medium 2. Now consider, so this is a plane wavefront. This is a plane wavefront. So this is a plane wavefront. So consider, so this is a plane wavefront. So what it is a plane wavefront. So which is coming from infinity source of light. Nothing but the source of light is there at infinity. So when the source of light is at infinity, then only that wavefront is nothing but the plane wavefront. So now consider this plane wavefront name will be AB. And now this AB is a plane wavefront and that is incidenting on the surface where at point A. And that's why this point A can be taken as the incident point or point of incidence. Okay. So you know the plane wavefront, so that is incidenting on the surface P dash at A. But you doesn't know the with what angle it is incidenting. With what angle it is incidenting, you doesn't know. But how can you find? So that can be find. So by drawing the light rays for this plane wavefront. But how I can draw the light rays for this plane wavefront? So if I draw the two normals, or if I draw the two rays, so that are perpendicular to the plane wavefront. Now consider, so this is the ray, or this is a light ray. So that is perpendicular to this plane wavefront at B. And next I am taking the, so another line or ray. So now consider this is another ray of light. So this is also perpendicular to the plane wavefront. And now these two rays or these two lines can be taken as what? Incident rays. Incident rays. So how they are? They are parallel to each other. Why they are parallel to each other? Because they are coming from the infinity source of light. So when the light is coming from the infinity source of light, so the light rays that are coming from the infinity source of light are what? Parallel to each other. And that wavefront is nothing but the plane wave. Okay. You draw the incident rays or you draw the light rays. The light rays direction is nothing but the direction of propagation of energy. The direction of propagation of energy is always perpendicular to the plane wavefront according to Huygens principle. Okay, it is satisfied. Now, with what angle it is incidenting the plane wavefront? So to know that, so I am drawing a normal at point A for the surface P dash. And now this is the normal. Let us consider. So this is the normal. This is a normal. So the normal name will be considered n dash. So what is n dash? So the n dash is nothing but, so this is the n dash. So the n dash is the normal drawn to which one? The normal drawn to the surface P dash. Now this is the incident ray. So that's why the angle between the normal and incident ray will be called as what? Angle of incidence. Already you learned it in the ray optics. So the angle between the incident ray and normal. So the angle between the, so the angle between the normal and incident ray will be called as what? Angle of incidence. So if it is angle of incidence, so this is the normal. This is the normal means it is making how much angle with the surface? 90 degrees. This is a 90 degrees. This is a 90 degrees. And as well as, so this is the plane wavefront. This is a plane wavefront. And this plane wavefront is also normal for the incident ray. The incident ray is normal to the plane wavefront because this is the direction of propagation of energy. The direction of propagation of energy is always perpendicular to the plane wavefront. So that's why this is also 90 degrees. When this is the 90 degrees, this is the angle I. So then what about this? So this is also 90 minus I. 90 minus I. And nothing but, so this is a surface. So this is a normal and this is the incident ray. This is the incident ray and this is a plane wavefront. So this is a plane wavefront. What is the angle between the plane wavefront and this incident ray? 90 degrees. So but this is the angle I. Then what about this angle? So this angle is also 90 minus I. Why this is the 90 degrees? From the 90 degrees this is I is subtracted. Then what you get? 90 minus I. So that's why this is a 90 minus I. When this is 90 minus I, but this is total angle is how much? 90 degrees. And nothing but this is a normal and this is a surface. What is the angle between them? 90 degrees. So but again how much is there? 90 minus I. Then what is about this angle? So now this angle become I. So when we added this 90 minus sin I, then what you get? 90 degrees. And now you got the angle between the plane wavefront and surface. That is nothing but how much angle? I. And nothing but this plane wavefront is incidenting with how much angle with the surface? With I. That's why this is called the angle of incidence for the plane wavefront. Here in case of the wavefront, what is angle of incidence? The angle of incidence is nothing but the angle between the wavefront and the surface will be called as angle of incidence. Okay, so you know that this is the incident wavefront, that is incidenting with how much angle? I. So this is the incident wavefront. So this is incident with how much angle? I. Okay, after knowing the angle of incidence I, now I wanted to know what is the position of this wavefront after time t. So now I want to know the what is the position of this plane wavefront AB. So after time t, after time, how much time? Time t. So to know that or what is the position of this wavefront after time t, so I am using the Huygens principle. So what is the Huygens principle? According to Huygens principle, every point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbance. That secondary disturbance also produce the waves. That waves are called the secondary wavelet. That secondary wavelet is also travel with the same speed of the wavefront. So what is the speed of the wavefront in the medium one? V1. So that's why the secondary wavelet which are produced from the different points on the wavefront is also travel with the same velocity. But after how much time I want to know the wavefront? After time t. But I am taking here 2 points. One is the B and one is the A. Now this AB can be act as a, now this A and B can be act as a second source of secondary disturbances. Source of secondary disturbances. So that's why from A and B, which will be produced secondary wavelets. Secondary wavelets. So but the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be traveling the medium 1. But the secondary wavelet which is produced from A does not travel in the medium 1 because already that this point A is on the surface. That's why when the secondary wavelet is produced from A, so that will be enter into the next medium. But the secondary wavelet which is produced from B does not enter into the second medium, but again it is still travel in the medium 1 up to it reaches the surface. So that secondary wavelet which is produced from A will be enter into the next medium. Why it will be enter into the next medium? Because already that wavefront or this point is already incident on the surface, but this point B is not incident on the surface. So now when the secondary wavelet which is produced from the B will be enter into this next medium, if it reaches the surface only, then only it can be enter into the next medium. So that's why now consider, so the secondary wavelet which is produced from the B. Now consider the secondary wavelet which is produced from B will be reaches to the surface. That time will be considered t. And nothing but the time taken by the secondary wavelet, which is coming from the B to reach this surface. So at point C, the time will be considered t. But with what velocity it should come? So with velocity v1. And nothing but the secondary wavelet which is coming from B will be travel with velocity v1. But the secondary wavelet that coming from A does not travel with velocity v1. Why? Already it is instant. Next it will be enter into the medium 2. That's why it will be moved with velocity v2. Now this is the distance traveled by whom? Now the BC is nothing but, so BC is the distance. BC is the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet from B. So BC is nothing but, so this is the distance traveled by the secondary wavelet, so which is produced from B. So now how can we find the distance? The distance BC is nothing but, what is the formula? Distance formula, velocity into time. So with what velocity the distance will be moved? So because already it is in the medium 1, that's why it can move with velocity v1. And it is how much time taken to reach the point C? It will be take the time, how much time t. So that's why the distance traveled by this secondary wavelet is how much dc, that is equal to v1t, and nothing but this is the v1t. So this is the BC distance traveled by the secondary wavelet which is coming from the B. But at the same time, so what is that, and at what time the secondary wavelet will be coming from B? At the same time, the secondary wavelet is also start from A. So which is at B, which is at A, and nothing but ఇక్కడ ఉన్న secondary wavelet అనేది ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో, ఏ దగ్గర ఉన్న సెకండరీ వేవ్లెట్ కూడా అప్పుడే స్టార్ట్ అయ్యింది. సో దట్స్ వై the secondary wavelet which is produced from A is also travel some distance in the second medium. So that distance will be considered AD. This is the distance traveled by the whom secondary wavelet. This is the distance traveled by whom secondary wavelet which is coming from A or which is produced from A. So now AD is nothing but what? AD is the distance traveled by secondary wavelet produced from where? Produced from A. So now how I can find this distance AD? Now this secondary wavelet is entering into the next medium. That's why we travel with how much velocity? v2. And again to reach this point it will take how much time? T. So that's why this AD can be taken as what? V2 into T. So now this is the distance. How much distance? V2 into T. Now you know the distance is traveled by the secondary wavelet which is coming from B and which is coming from A. That's why by taking this distance as a radius, when we draw the spheres, that sphere will be indicates the secondary wavelets. That sphere will be indicates the secondary wave. And by taking this radius, so when you draw the spheres, so that spheres will indicate the secondary wavelets. So these are the secondary wavelets coming from, this is the secondary wavelet coming from B and this is the secondary wavelet coming from A. Okay, you know the secondary wavelet. So if a common tangent is drawn, now consider this the common tangent. So this is the common tangent. So now this is the common tangent drawn to these two wavelets. So that will be gives the new wavefront. But the new wavefront is where? The new wavefront is in the second medium. That's why we say that. So this plane wavefront will be enter into the next medium. That will be known as what? Refraction. So now this is the CD. Is our new wavefront. So this is called the refracted wavefront. And this is the incident wavefront. And now these two lines can be taken as the refracted ray. This is the ray can be taken as what? Refracted ray. These ray can be taken as what? Refracted ray. Why it can be taken as a refracted ray? Because this is the refracted wavefront. For this refracted wavefront, so when I draw a line that is exactly perpendicular. So that's why this is the direction of propagation of energy in the medium 2. So that's why this can be taken as a refracted ray. So if taken as a refracted ray, the angle between the refracted ray and normal is called what? Angle of refraction. So if this is angle of refraction, so then what about this? This is also 90 minus r. So actually this is 90 degrees. This is a normal drawn to surface and this is a surface 90 degrees. So when this is r, then it becomes 90 minus r. Now if we take the triangle, so that is nothing but ADC. So this is a right angle triangle. Here 90 degrees there. Here 90 degrees is 90 minus r. Then what about this angle? So this angle can be taken as what? R. This angle can be taken as what? R. This is a right angle triangle. So now this is 90 degrees and this is 90 minus r and r. Totally how much? 180 degrees. So 90 minus r plus 90. So this plus r can give what? 180 because plus or minus r will be cancelled. 90 plus 90 gives what? 180. And then this angle is how much? This angle is R. And nothing but, so this is the refracted wavefront. He is making how much angle with the surface? R. Now this will be called as refracted angle or angle of refraction for this wavefront. The angle between the refracted wavefront and surface will be known as what? Angle of refraction. Angle of refraction. So what is angle of incident? The angle between the incident wavefront and the surface will be known as the angle of incident. The angle between the refracted wavefront and the surface will be known as what? Angle of refraction. Okay. When we say that this incident, when we say that this plane wavefront will be refracted, so if it is satisfy the conditions of laws of refraction, if it satisfy the conditions of laws of refraction, laws of refraction. What are the laws of refraction? What are the laws of refraction? When the light is traveling from the one medium to another medium, the sine angle of incidence to the sine angle of refraction is always constant and nothing but, so if we derive from this diagram, if we derive the Snell's law of refraction, then we say that that wavefront is refracted. The wavefront is the refracted. So now from this diagram I am going to derive the Snell's law of refraction. So for that purpose I am taking the here two triangles. One is the what? Triangle ABC. Another one is the triangle ADC. So what is the first triangle? The first triangle is the ABC. These are triangle ABC. Here how much angle? 90 degrees. ABC. ABC. This is ABC. So in the ABC, this is I angle. For this angle, this is right angle. What is opposite side? This is opposite side. And this is the hypotenuse. This is called the hypotenuse AC. So that's why in the triangle ABC I am going to calculate the what is the sine I. What is the sine I? So the sine I is nothing but, so the what is the sine I or sine theta? Sine theta is the ratio of the opposite side by opposite side to hypotenuse. What is the sine theta formula? Opposite side to the hypotenuse. What is the opposite side here? BC. So BC by, so what is the hypotenuse? The hypotenuse is nothing but the AC. But what is BC? BC is nothing but the distance traveled by the secondary wavelength which is produced from B in how much time t. So that's why the BC is how much? V1t. V1t by AC. At a sine I is equal to V1t by AC. Now consider equation 1. This is the equation 1. Now coming to the second triangle. What is the second triangle? ABC. ADC. So next triangle is, the triangle name is ADC. ADC. So in the ADC, again I am taking the sine R. This is the R. So sine R. And this is also right angle triangle. So for this R, opposite side is the AD and hypotenuse is the AC. So that's why sine R equal to, what is the opposite side? Opposite side is the AD, and so now the hypotenuse is nothing but what? AC. But what is AD? AD is nothing but what? V2t. That's why sine R equal to AD. AD means what? V2 into t by AC. Now consider equation 2. So now from equation 1 and 2, if I divide the equation 1 with the equation 2, when I divide the equation 1 with the equation 2, so now this is BC. BC is equal to how much? V1t. And what about this AD? AD is nothing but V2t. So when I divide the equation 1 with equation 2, what you get? Equation 1 is divided with equation 2. So what you get? Sine I by sine R. Sine I by sine R equal to, what is sine I? Sine I is nothing but V1t by AC. So V1t by AC. divided by what is sin r? Sin r is nothing but v2t by AC. v2t by AC. So this AC will be cancelled. Then what you get? Sin I by sin r. So that is nothing but this T is also cancelled. Then what you get? V1 by V2. So V1 by V2 is nothing but V1 is the velocity of the light in the first medium and V2 is the velocity of the light in the second medium. That's why they cannot be changed. And nothing but when the light is on, when the plane wavefront is traveling in the medium 1, it will be traveling with velocity V1. And when it is entering into the next medium, it will travel with velocity V2. So they may be nothing but the V1 is greater than V2 or V2 is greater than V1. That can be decided by the nature of the medium. But they cannot be changed. And nothing but what you get? So the sin I by sin r and the V1 by V2 is always what? Constant. Always what? Constant. And nothing but when the light is traveling from one medium to another medium, so the sine angle of incidence to sine angle of refraction is always what? Constant. Constant r, otherwise in another way is also you can prove. So now consider this equation is a thing. But you know the refractive index. So the refractive index of the medium 1 is n1, the refractive index of the medium 2 is n2. So that will be decided by the nature of the medium also, nature of the medium. So from this the refractive index of the medium, absolute refractive index of the medium 1. So what is the V1 value? The V1 can be taken as C by N1. And from this equation, what is N1? N1 is nothing but C by V1. So from this V1 is equal to how much? C by N1. C by N1. And as well as what is the absolute refractive index of the N2? The absolute refractive index of the N2 is nothing but C by V2. C by V2. So from this V2 is equal to what? C by N2. Now substitute these values in equation 3. And now consider this equation 4 and this is equation 5. When the equation 4 and equation 5 are substituted in equation 3, what do you get? You get that sin I by sin r equal to what is V1? V1 is nothing but C by N1. And what is V2? V2 is nothing but C by N2. So the C will be cancelled. So when I simplify, so denominator is there, it will be go to the numerator. So that's why sin I by sin r is equal to N2 by N1. So N2 by N1 is nothing but it is a ratio of absolute refractive index of the medium 2 to absolute refractive index of the medium 1. So they cannot be changes. So that's why it is constant. It is constant. Or if we do the cross product, so N1 sin I is equal to N2 sin r. So this will be called as Snell's law. This will be called as what? Snell's law. And nothing but, so when this plane wavefront is entering into the next medium, it is obeying the Snell's law. That's why we can say that, so this plane wavefront will be undergo the refraction. This plane wavefront will be undergo the refraction. So that's why this is also known as the first law of refraction. So first law of what? Refraction. And coming to the second law of refraction. So now this is the incident wavefront and this is the refracted wavefront and this is the surface. So this surface is also normal to this board and this refracted wave is also normal to the board and this incident wave is also wavefront is also normal to this board, nothing but board plane. And if we consider this board as a plane, so this plane wavefront will be like this, and this refracted wavefront is also like this, and this incident wave is also like this. And nothing but they are all in the same plane. They are all in the same plane. Which plane? This board plane. So this is what? This is the surface. The surface is also perpendicular to the board plane. And this refracted wavefront is also perpendicular to the board plane and this incident ray is also perpendicular to the board plane and nothing but they are all lying in the same plane. So that is also known as another law of refraction. Another law of refraction. So in this way we can explain the refraction of the plane wavefront from a surface using Huygens principle.